Oscar De La Hoya wasn't just a boxer. He was a phenomenon, a fighter with skill power and the charisma to capture the world's attention from the streets of East Los Angeles to becoming one of the most successful fighters in history. He built an empire worth hundreds of millions. But outside the ring, his life was just as dramatic, filled with fame, fortune scandals, and business ventures. How did the Golden Boy rise to stardom, amassed a $200 million fortune, and live a life of luxury? This is the story of Oscar De La Hoya's legendary career, his extravagant lifestyle, and the personal struggles that defined him. February 4th, 1973. East Los Angeles, California, in a neighborhood where dreams were often cut short. One boy was destined to rise above it all. His name, Oscar De La Hoya. But for Oscar, boxing wasn't just a sport. It was family tradition. His grandfather had been a fighter, his father a professional boxer, and his brother followed the same path. Fighting was in his blood, and from an early age, it was clear that Oscar had something special. Growing up in East LA was an easy crime. Gangs and poverty surrounded him, but his family kept him focused. His father, Joel De La Hoya Sr., made sure Oscar stayed in the gym, pushing him to be disciplined and dedicated. Oscar's speed, power, and natural ability were undeniable. And by the time he was in high school, he had already started turning heads in the amateur boxing circuit. Oscar wasn't just talented. He was obsessed training before school, after school, late at night. He didn't party. He didn't waste time. He had a goal, and he was willing to outwork anyone to reach it. His hard work paid off as a teenager. He won the National Golden Gloves, multiple national amateur titles, making him one of the brightest young stars in American boxing. By 17, he was already a dominant force, beating opponents years older than him. But just as his career was taking off, his personal life took a devastating hit. Then came the moment that changed everything. Oscar's mother, Celia, the woman who had supported his dreams from the very beginning, was diagnosed with cancer. It was aggressive. It was terminal. And suddenly, boxing wasn't just about winning. It was about honoring her on her deathbed. She made Oscar promise her one thing, that he would become an Olympic champion. He was just a teenager. But in that moment, he vowed to make her dream come true, determined to keep his promise. Oscar doubled down on his training. He qualified for the 1992 U.S. Olympic boxing team at just 19 years old. A remarkable feat for someone so young. The Olympics weren't just a competition for him. They were a mission. Every fight, every punch. For his mother when he arrived in Barcelona for the Summer Olympics. He was one of the top prospects in the lightweight division, but he was up against the best fighters in the world. This was no longer local or national competition. This was the ultimate test. The world watched as the young kid from East LA stepped into the ring carrying not just the hopes of his country, but the memory of his mother, round after round. He outclassed his opponents, showcasing speed, precision, and a hunger unlike anything his competitors had seen. And then, in the final bout, Oscar delivered in a flawless performance. De La Hoya dominated his opponent, securing victory and winning Olympic gold. As the referee raised his hand, tears filled his eyes. He had done it. He had kept his promise with his gold medal hanging around his neck and the American flag draped over his shoulders. Oscar De La Hoya wasn't just a champion, was a symbol of perseverance, of hard work, of family. And in that moment, the world gave him a new name. Golden Boy. That nickname would follow him for the rest of his career. It wasn't just about his Olympic triumph. It was about what he represented. a young fighter with skill, charisma, and the potential to be one of the greatest of all time, victory instantly made him a national hero. The boxing world knew they had just witnessed the birth of a future superstar. But this was only the beginning. Winning Olympic gold had made him a household name, but what came next would take him to heights no one could have imagined. Oscar De La Hoya was about to step into the professional ranks, and the world of boxing would never be the same after winning Olympic gold in 1992. Oscar De La Hoya had the world at his feet. The Golden Boy had captured the hearts of boxing fans everywhere. And when he announced his decision to turn professional later that year, the excitement was undeniable. But no one could have predicted just how quickly he would take over the sport. De La Hoya made his professional debut on November 23rd, 1992, with a stunning first-round TKO victory. Right from the start, he showed a rare combination of speed, power, and technical mastery. His ability to dismantle opponents with sharp combinations and relentless pressure made him one of the most exciting young fighters in boxing. He wasted no time climbing the ranks. In just his 12th fight, at the age of 20, he captured his first world title, the WBO Super Featherweight Championship, by defeating Jimmy Bradall. This victory set the stage for a legendary career as De La Hoya continued moving up in weight-collecting world titles at an unprecedented pace. The boxing world had never seen a fighter like De La Hoya. He wasn't just winning, he was dominating, moving through divisions like a force of nature. His skill, his power. His movie star looks everything about him. Screamed superstar, and the world took notice. By the mid-1990s, De La Hoya was already one of boxing's biggest attractions. His aggressive yet technical fighting style, coupled with his clean-cut image, made him a marketing dream major. Brands lined up to sponsor him, and networks fought for the rights to broadcast his fights. He wasn't just a boxer, he was a phenomenon, but it wasn't just hype. De La Hoya backed up every expectation with performances that left fans in awe. He won world titles in multiple divisions, defeating some of the biggest names in the sport. Then came the fight that changed everything. June 7th, 1996. Oscar De La Hoya versus Julio Cesar Chavez, the young lion versus the Mexican legend. A fight for supremacy. A fight for history. Chavez was a national hero, an undefeated warrior who had ruled the lightweight and super lightweight divisions for over a decade. Many saw De La Hoya as a flashy newcomer who had yet to prove himself against a true legend. But that night, in front of a roaring Las Vegas crowd, Golden Boy delivered. He dominated Chavez from the opening bell, his speed and precision overwhelming the veteran. After 4 brutal rounds, Chavez's face was a bloody mess, and the referee stopped the fight. De La Hoya had done the unthinkable. He had dethroned a living legend. The victory turned him into a superstar. He was now the face of boxing, the man to be the king of the ring. Payday started getting bigger, and the fights became even more legendary. The 1999 showdown with Felix Trinidad, a fight between 2 undefeated champions at the peak of their powers. De La Hoya boxed brilliantly for most of the fight, but a controversial final few rounds where he backed off LED to a razor-thin decision loss. To this day, the result is debated as one of the most controversial in boxing history. His 2004 fight against Bernard Hopkins, where he moved up to middleweight in search of yet another world title. Hopkins, the bigger and stronger fighter, ended the night with a devastating body shot knockout in the 9th round. It was one of the only times in his career that De La Hoya was truly outmatched. The 2007 mega fight against Floyd Mayweather Jr. billed as the fight of the century. It was the highest grossing fight in boxing history, at the time generating over $130 million in revenue. De La Hoya fought well, but Mayweather's defensive genius secured him a split-decision win, cementing his place as the new face of boxing. His final fight against Manny Pacquiao in 2008. By this point, age and wear had caught up with De La Hoya. Pacquiao, the younger, faster fighter, overwhelmed him, forcing him to retire on his stool after 8 one-sided rounds. That was it. December 6th, 2008. Oscar De La Hoya. The man who had ruled boxing for over a decade had fought his last fight, but even in defeat, his legacy was untouchable. He had won 11 world titles in 6 different weight classes, defeated some of the greatest fighters of all time, and cemented himself as one of the biggest pay-per-view draws in boxing history. By the time he retired, De La Hoya had generated over $700 million in pay-per-view revenue, a record that was only later surpassed by Floyd Mayweather and Manny Pacquiao. He had taken on every challenge, stepped into the ring, against the best of the best, and never backed down. But Oscar De La Hoya wasn't just a boxer. He was a businessman, a brand, and an icon. His impact on boxing extended far beyond his performances in the ring. And as he stepped away from competition, he was already planning his next, Chapter 1, that would reshape the sport forever for Oscar. De La Hoya. Success inside the ring was only the beginning. Boxing made him a millionaire, but his sharp business instincts and larger-than-life personality made him a mogul with an estimated net worth of $200 million. The Golden Boy built a lifestyle as grand as his legacy, surrounding himself with luxury fast cars, sprawling mansions, and high-profile investments. Unlike many athletes who squander their fortunes, De La Hoya turned his boxing empire into a financial powerhouse, securing his place among the wealthiest figures in sports history. At the height of his career, De La Hoya wasn't just a champion. He was a brand. He was the face of boxing. A crossover star who transcended the sport, appearing in commercials, magazine covers, and even dabbling in music. His wealth allowed him to live like royalty, and he embraced every aspect of the lavish lifestyle that came with being a global icon. One of the crown jewels of his fortune is his $14.6 million mansion in Henderson, Nevada, a stunning estate that reflects his taste for extravagance. The home, located in one of the most prestigious areas near Las Vegas, boasts modern architecture, a state-of-the-art home theater, a massive game room, and a resort-style pool that rivals 5-star hotel. Every detail of the estate is designed for luxury, from the high-end into superior decor, to the beautifully landscaped gardens that provide the perfect retreat from the public eye. But for De La Hoya, luxury, it wasn't just about where he lived. It was about how he moved from private jets to exotic vacations. The Golden Boy traveled the world in style, ensuring that every moment of his life reflected the fortune he had earned. His love for fast cars is legendary, and his high-end car collection is a testament to his taste for speed, power, and prestige. Among his most prized possessions is the Ferrari SF 90 Stradale, an engineering marvel known for its blistering speed and sleek aerodynamic design, a car built for champions. The Ferrari perfectly embodies the legacy of a man who always pushed the limits. Next in his collection is the Lamborghini Aventador SVJ, a machine that screams dominance with its aggressive styling and unparalleled performance. The Aventador SVJ is the ultimate statement of power, wealth, and success. But De La Hoya's appreciation for luxury doesn't stop at speed. He also indulges in comfort and class. The Rolls-Royce Phantom is another gem in his garage, a car synonymous with sophistication and elegance, known for its handcrafted interior and smooth ride. The Phantom is the ultimate luxury vehicle. And for someone like De La Hoya, who built his empire with his own hands, it's a fitting symbol of his accomplishments, not to be outdone. He also owns a Porsche 911, turbo, a car that balances performance with agility, allowing him to enjoy speed without sacrificing luxury. Rounding out his collection is the Mercedes Benz S-Class flagship, sedan packed with cutting-edge features and unparalleled comfort. Each car in his collection reflects a different side of his personality: bold, fast, powerful, and refined. But De La Hoya's empire extends far beyond the boxing ring and luxury possession, while many fighters struggle to find purpose. After retirement, he transitioned seamlessly into the business world, making strategic moves that would secure his financial future for decades to come. In 2002, he founded Golden Boy Promotions, a groundbreaking venture that made him the first American of Mexican descent to own a major boxing promotional company. What started as a way to promote his own fights soon evolved into one of the most powerful organizations in combat sports. De La Hoya's vision was clear. He wanted to give fighters opportunities, control their own careers, and elevate boxing to new heights. Golden Boy Promotions became a multi-sport empire, expanding beyond boxing and into MMA soccer, and other business ventures in 2018. De La Hoya made headlines when he launched Golden Boy MMA, putting together a high-profile trilogy fight between legends Chuck Liddell and Tito Ortiz. While the event was controversial, it showcased De La Hoya's willingness to push boundaries and take risks beyond the fight game. He also invested in professional soccer, becoming a part owner of the Houston Dynamo, an MLS team. This move not only diversified his financial portfolio, but also deepened his ties to the Latino community, where soccer is king. For De La Hoya building, wealth wasn't just about collecting titles. It was about creating opportunities, expanding his empire, and securing his place in the sports and business worlds, from the boxing ring to the boardroom. He proved that being a champion isn't just about winning fights. It's about building a legacy that lasts a lifetime. Even as a retired fighter, De La Hoya's financial empire continues to grow. He has dabbled in real estate, owned lucrative sponsorship deals, and maintained investments in various industries. His ability to reinvent himself after boxing is what sets him apart from so many other athletes who fall into financial ruin. But despite all the luxury, power, and success, there's another side to Oscar De La Hoya, a personal life filled with highs and lows, relationships that made headlines, and battles that went far beyond the boxing ring. Oscar De La Hoya's life outside the ring was just as dramatic as his legendary boxing career, known for his charisma and charm. He was always in the spotlight, not just for his fights, for his high-profile relationships, personal struggles, and shocking scandals. While he built an empire in boxing, his personal life was often chaotic, filled with controversy, heartbreak, and battles that went far beyond the ring. De La Hoya's reputation as a ladies' man was well documented, with numerous relationships, making tabloid headlines. In 1997, he began dating Shauna Moakler, a former Miss USA and rising actress. Their relationship quickly became serious, and in 1999, they had a daughter together. But despite their seemingly happy beginnings, their romance ended in spectacular fashion. Not with a quiet breakup, but with a public betrayal that played out on live television. Oakler, watching the Latin Grammy Awards from home, expected to see her fiancé by her side. Soon, instead, she saw him on TV escorting another woman down the red carpet. The betrayal was undeniable, and their relationship ended instantly following the split. Mogul filed a $62.5 million palimony lawsuit, claiming De La Hoya had been physically and emotionally abusive, as well as neglectful toward their daughter. The case was settled out of court in 2001. The damage to De La Hoya's public image was already done. While he continued to provide financial support for their daughter, he reportedly had minimal direct contact with her in the years that followed, after his very public split from Mogul. De La Hoya seemed ready to settle down. In 2001, he married Puerto Rican singer Miley Coricha. For a time, it seemed like he had found stability. They had 3 children together, and their relationship lasted much longer than his previous ones. But like many aspects of his life, even this marriage was not meant to last, despite being married for over a decade. De La Hoya and Coricha quietly separated in 2016. The details surrounding their split remain largely private. But De La Hoya's personal demons, including substance abuse and infidelity rumors, may have played a role in the marriage's downfall beyond his marriages. De La Hoya fathered 2 more sons from previous relationships, bringing his total number of children to 6, while he has maintained financial support for all his children. Reports suggest that his relationships with them have been complicated, shaped by the turbulence of his personal life. But behind the glamour, the wealth, and the high-profile relationships, De La Hoya carried deep personal wounds, painful memories and struggles that would eventually come to light in shocking revelations. In 2021, De La Hoya made a heartbreaking confession. He had been sexually assaulted at the age of 13. He revealed that the incident involving an adult woman had deeply affected him for years, though he had kept it buried inside for decades. The trauma, combined with the pressures of fame and fortune, contributed to his struggles with mental health and addiction. Throughout the years, De La Hoya battled substance abuse, openly admitting to struggles with alcohol and cocaine addiction. In multiple interviews, he spoke about his downward spirals, describing moments of extreme depression and self-destruction. He entered rehab multiple times, but his demons often resurfaced, leading to public incidents that tarnished his reputation for De La Hoya. The fight wasn't just inside the ring, it was against his own inner demons. The golden boy, once invincible in the eyes of fans, had fallen victim to the same pitfalls that had destroyed so many before him. Despite his struggles, De La Hoya has made efforts to rebuild his life, channeling his energy into his businesses, philanthropy, and efforts to stay sober. His story is one of triumph and turmoil, success and suffering, a journey that is still ongoing as he continues to search for peace beyond the ring. Today, Oscar De La Hoya is more than just a retired boxer. He is a businessman, a promoter, and a man on a journey of redemption. While his personal struggles have been well documented, he remains a powerful force in the world of boxing. And beyond his biggest success, post-retirement, has been Golden Boy Promotions, the boxing promotion company he founded in 2002. What started as a way to manage his own career turned into one of the most successful promotional companies in the sport, producing champions like Canelo Alvarez and shaping the future of boxing. While Canelo eventually parted ways with Golden Boy, the company remains one of the most dominant forces in boxing, with a roster of young talent and a legacy that will continue for years to come. But beyond business, De La Hoya has also given back to his community using his wealth and influence to make a difference. Through the Oscar De La Hoya Foundation, he has dedicated millions to helping underprivileged youth in East Los Angeles, the very place where he grew up. His foundation has built schools, provided scholarships, and created opportunities for children who otherwise might not have had a chance. One of his most significant contributions is the Animo Charter High School, a school he helped fund that provides education and better opportunities for young students in East LA. His generosity is also extended to healthcare, donating millions to hospitals, including a $250,000 donation to support COVID-19. Relief efforts, despite the scandals, despite the losses. Oscar De La Hoya's impact on boxing and his community remains undeniable. He has lived a life of extraordinary highs and devastating lows. Story of triumph, pain, and resilience. But the question remains, has he truly found peace? Or is the golden boy still searching for something more as he moves forward? De La Hoya continues to make headlines, whether it's teasing a comeback fight, ex-ending, golden boy promotions, or speaking openly about his personal struggles. One thing is certain, his story is not over with this final chapter story of Oscar De La Hoya's life and lifestyle. Comes full circle from the streets of East LA to Olympic gold, from boxing glory to personal downfall, and from financial success to redemption. De La Hoya's journey is nothing short of legendary. His legacy remains intact, not just as a champion, but as a survivor, a businessman, and a man who refuses to be defined by his failures. The golden boy may have lost battles along the way, but as long as he keeps fighting, his story will always be one of resilience, ambition, and redemption.